Earth. Such a beautiful planet where nature has blessed us with fresh air, pure water, and creations like picturesque mountains. Flowers and leaves swaying to the background of chirping birds. The clouds playing hide and seek. Breathtaking waterfalls, majestic oceans, and mesmerizing sunset. The functions and beauty of planet Earth is far beyond any description in words. Then, God put a human being on Earth. He gave us such a beautiful home. We have to look after our home, and finally when we go, we should make sure we leave this planet in a better state than when we found it. But are we doing this? Or are we making use of all the beautiful resources without leaving much for our coming generations? When we came to this earth, God only provided us with fruits and vegetables to eat. We were healthy and our bodies were almost disease-free. Then the human being started to kill animals for food. We were introduced to meat. We liked it. Some of us loved it. However, eating meat brought its own problems for our bodies. Overeating caused excessive weight and obesity. Then disorders like high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease and stroke became commonplace in our lives. A reduction in the consumption of meat and an increase in fresh vegetables as part of your diet will reduce the risk of developing these dangerous diseases. Welcome to Preetham Urban Farm of Birmingham. This is the brainchild of Deep Wouhra, also known as Tony Deep Wouhra, MBE. The green leafy plant looks like the baby spinach that I'd buy in the supermarkets. Only this baby spinach is pure, fresh, and grown without any chemical fertilizers or pesticides. The farmer uses chemical fertilizers and pesticides to grow food for us. When we eat the food grown with chemical fertilizers, we eat those impurities in our food, and that gives rise to diseases. Let us first of all understand what an urban farm is. Kevin Frediani explains the concept.
An urban farm is a centre where we grow food, primarily plants, but it could also be animals, to feed into communities of people in towns and cities. We look at a city like London now, we have 8 million people in an area of 18,000 hectares. The footprint for food and for other resources that are grown on land at the moment consumes almost all of the available landmass in the UK that can be done under productivity. So if you put that on a global scale and you look at the number of people we have just in the UK, have a look at the number of people around the world, then you can say that urban farming is going to become a necessity, an absolute necessity. Plants require 16 basic elements to grow. Now, if you look at a healthy soil, it will have those 16 nutrients in abundance. If you look at a soil which has been cropped on a regular time frame, those nutrients will decrease. And in fact, you can have crops growing suboptimally. If you look at an urban centre, you may well have pollutants. Now, plants don't discriminate between nutrients which are good for humans and which are not. So you can end up with toxic plants being fed into the human food chain. In this system, I know exactly what goes in. I know where it came from and I know where it's going to.
As Kevin explained, the food grown in an urban farm is 100% pure and without any chemical residues, reducing the risk of any disease. Let us understand the full cycle of growing vegetables. Well, here we are in the basement of the urban farm, and this is the seedling area. The seeds are grown in a tray where the individual seeds can be sown into plastic pots with soil, and in 3 to 4 days they'll start to germinate. In a further 4 to 5 days we can actually transfer these shoots into the hydroponic tray. The temperature, light and humidity is fully controlled by computer to provide the crop with the ideal growing conditions. The water is mixed with natural nutrients and fed automatically by the PLC control. That will encourage the growth of the plant. This plant is about 6 days old, and this plant is about 14 days from seed sowing. And this has gained its maturity after 30 days and is ready to be harvested. Why did we name it Pritham Urban Farm of Birmingham.
We call this Pritham Urban Farm of Birmingham after my father's name. East End Foods is a British company and we wanted to leave a legacy behind. This urban farm is inspired by Padma Shri Bhavarlal Jain of Jain Irrigation, Jalgaon, India. Our company is the very first one to grow vegetables hydroponically in the Midlands. Visitors will hopefully remember that eating pure food can prevent diseases like diabetes. Our government is spending £2 billion on obesity alone and a further 14 billion on diabetes.
The famous HP sauce brand was produced on this site. Heinz, the new brand owners, took the production of such an iconic brand to Holland, laying off 125 British people. Then why shouldn't another British company create something really iconic and turn this site into the new gateway to Birmingham? The family company East End Foods decided to launch Pritham Urban Farm here.
We are fortunate to have support of His Royal Highness Prince of Wales. All that we need is support of large companies and role models so that this message can reach the ordinary man.